Top five, top five, top five.
So topical back with another video. I'm Strange Wayne. He is Nate. Today we're doing top 5 Scarlett Johansson movies. How does that work?
So the way we do our top fives is one of us will start with our 5 and 4, the other will give their 5 and 4, 3-2, 3-2, then we'll trade off number ones. We also have something we call the Zemeckis rule, which just means that if we both have the same film on our list, but one person has it 2 spots or higher, that person will call out Zemeckis when they hear it, and we'll save the conversation for when we get to it on their list.
All right, my number 5 is going to be Lost in Translation.
Okay, that's my number 4.
Cool. So this film sticks with you.
Yeah.
And it's because of the performances.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I had to put it on my list because, bro, it was like 2 weeks later, I'm like, man, her performance in that movie, his performance in that movie. But it's also like Bill Murray and her together.
Yeah.
So that's why it's number 5. Why is it your number 4 though?
Because I don't like my number 5 as much as I like that movie.
No shit.
That's just one good reason. But it's part of the same reason. It's not. It's a very subtle performance, a very pulled back performance, which I appreciate because that's not something that we always see from her. And obviously like a younger Scarlett Johansson, but it's because their roles do stick with you. And part of me is like, I want to know what would have happened to them after this film was over. But the sad reality of it is they're both still in marriages that they're not happy in. You know? And like, yeah, maybe there's a chance that they could fix it, but I also still feel like they're both going to spend the rest of their life kind of like what-ifing those couple days in Tokyo, you know? So that, and then combined with the fact that they both sell like their age so well in the film, because obviously there's like sexual tension between them. And if Bill Murray made a move, Scarlett Johansson's character is 100% going for it. And Bill Murray being the older, more mature one with like the life experience has the wherewithal to like pull back and not let it happen. But you can tell all of that from their characters without them ever actually really having a conversation about it. And that is incredible acting.
My number 4 is going to be Under the Skin. This performance for me showcases her body language, and that's a huge part of acting to me. And so to have that be like the forefront of your performance, you don't see a lot of actors get to show that off in this type of way. So for that, it's my number 4 because incredible stuff, but mainly focusing on her body language.
My number 5 is surely a Zemeckis, and it is Don John. All right. So,
that's just a Zemeckis car taking off Back to the Future.
Nice.
We got graphics.
Yeah.
We big time, dog. What's your number? You tell me number 4. My number 3 is Ghost World. So she plays a very preppy high school girl, all-American girl, to teen angst. I'm not gothic, but I dress like I am. So it's a very yin-yang situation they got going on there. And watch a great tennis match, you got to have a great opponent. And this is what this film kind of is, because every time the acting ball gets passed over to Scarlett Johansson, she returns it beautifully. And the back and forth between these two just makes this film endlessly enjoyable. It's basic. If I had to sum it up, because you should definitely watch it, it's super bad, but with females.
Okay.
Incredible stuff. My number 2 is Don John.
Okay.
Your number 5.
Yeah.
Criminally underrated. So all these films, I have sympathy for that character, or I really enjoyed the performance. And not saying like these are the only 5 films that I enjoy her in, because there's one on your list I really enjoyed. But in this film, I dislike this lady.
Yeah.
Like,
she's incredibly annoying.
she plays the part to the T, and it's incredible stuff. How it makes him feel is how I would feel. You know, I could see myself being in that situation.
Yeah.
And being like, what am I doing here? I've done that a couple times. But, so, I love this movie. I relate to it. But her performance solely, like, I don't condone violence, but it is 2020, so equal rights, equal fights. Like, I would kind of hope she takes a swing at me because I just like the character so much.
Yeah, so I agree with pretty much everything you said. She does an incredibly good job. So almost all of Scarlett Johansson's films, she plays a pretty likable person, or at least plays the good guy in the film, right? So,
A woman. She's not a guy.
Don't assume her gender. So, in this one, she's definitely like she really is one of the antagonists of the film. And I would argue that Don John is kind of his own antagonist while also being the protagonist at the same time. But
that's life.
yeah, it is for sure. I hated this film for a really, really long time. Well, I watched it and I was like, this film's okay. And then you watched it and you were over the moon about it. And then that just made me hate it because he's not a good person. And you find him weirdly relatable for some reason, which just makes me wonder what you're...
You tell me on a daily...
what you're doing when no one else is around.
You tell me on a daily basis how I'm not a good person. And then you're surprised I relate to someone who isn't a good person?
6.5 hours later.
I care about you and I don't want you to be Don John. Anyways, I watched the movie again for this list. And it reminded me that I thought it was an okay movie and not a bad movie. So I'm glad that I rewatched it because there are lots of good lessons to learn from this film, and a lot of them come from her character. In that you can't sell out for a 10 just because she's a 10. Because if she's not a good person, and not she's the thing is she's not a terrible person. Like she's a little manipulative, and like what she wants from a man is probably not super healthy. But like, also he does a lot of stuff wrong. So, but like, what makes me hate her is when he is earnestly trying to apologize and not even trying to get her back, and she's just like, I don't care, we're not getting back together. And he's like, okay, I'm just trying to tell you that I'm sorry, and she's just such a prick about it.
Yeah.
So like, sure. But she does a phenomenal job making you believe that as an actress, and that's why it's on my list.
See, we keep talking about it. I should put this in my number one. Incredible stuff.
No, your number one is a good number one.
What's your number 3?
My number 3 is JoJo Rabbit. I like my list because it shows the range that Scarlett Johansson really has. And for so long, in like the popular view, she's just been Black Widow, you know? And like that has been, like, she's played that role more than she's probably done more movies as Black Widow, or just as many movies as Black Widow, or close to it, as she has other stuff. And, like, I feel like that just has overshadowed her lately, but I like my list because it shows the range that she does really have. And Jojo Rabbit definitely falls in that category because, like, A, this movie is hilarious. A, this movie is a great story and it has a great message. But, like, what her character is beautiful and obviously ultimately tragic.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, this woman is legitimately going through a struggle. Like, she completely disbelieves in everything that her government is doing, while her son, who she adores and loves, is 100% bought in.
Yeah.
So she has to, like, maintain this facade for him because she's the only one who can take care of him. And if he hates her, then, like, he has nothing. But also not compromising on her beliefs as a person and hiding what she's hiding in the attic. And, like, she makes it super, super believable. And she 100% sells her love for JoJo, which is why, like, when what happens to her in the film is just, like, it's very abrupt. So, like, it almost doesn't give you a chance to feel the full weight of it, but it's still incredibly impactful.
Yeah. This was close to being on my list because she hangs in there with a great cast.
So my number 2 is Marriage Story.
That's my number 1.
Okay.
So this is such a range of emotions. So, like, I've kind of been noticing this in, like, some of my film choices. Some of the films I watch, my mind, I'm just trained to, like, this is the good guy, I gotta root for him or her or whoever.
Yeah.
This film doesn't have that.
Right.
So I'm constantly going back and forth, like Pong on the, like...
NES?
Yeah, NES. Going back and forth. And I'm like, man, he shouldn't have cheated on her. He's a piece of garbage. And then she gets a lawyer who's, like, cutthroat. And I'm like, I don't need you either. And then I'm on his side again because all his money's getting taken away from his play that he loves so much.
Yeah.
But he's a douche and he's hitting walls and stuff. And then I just don't like nobody. And the Ray Liotta shows up. But her performance just gives you through a range of emotions. And if I was in her situation, I probably wouldn't know what to do either. And just, I feel like that's, like, she watched a documentary of what it's like to get divorced and just based it off of that. It feels so real. She falls into the role. You know? Which is very hard to do when I can't walk around and not see MCU this, MCU that. And she's a big part of that. And I see her constantly because of that. So for me to like, oh my goodness, that's that character.
Yeah.
That's not Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
That's why it's my number one.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Both their performances are phenomenal in this film. And, like, even to add, like, another hit to the Pong game, the film opens up with them in therapy and her being the one that refuses to participate. So really the film opens up making her look like the bad guy. And then you found out that he cheated on her and ignored all of her dreams and all this stuff. And then the lawyer stuff comes into play. So, like, there's a lot of layers to the back and forth of, like, who initially seems wrong or right. And obviously the whole point of the film is that, like, they both did a lot of things wrong, despite the fact that they do care about each other. So, but they both sell it so phenomenally, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, both her and Driver just kind of disappear into these roles, and it's just like, dude, this could be my neighbors. My number one is Her, Scarlett Johansson, in the movie Her, with Joaquin Phoenix. Which I understand it's an interesting choice because she is not physically in the film, but to me, that just allows her to give what I really think is potentially her best performance.
You dig?
Because, like, the subtleness and the nuances and all the inflections in her voice throughout this film, like, gets you so invested in these characters. And the script definitely helps them. Like, I mean, Her and A Marriage Story are two of the most realistic, like, relationship dialogue films that I've ever seen. So, but, like, her character is just so, like, compassionate. And, like, I mean, she really is, like, the perfect girlfriend type kind of thing because she's never pushy, she's never mean. And, like, getting to experience her as this intelligence that is, like, slowly having self-discovery and learning who she is as a person, which is, like, also a metaphor for how relationships go, because even in real relationships, even though we're not an AI who's about to just meld with a bunch of other AIs, like, we're still constantly learning more about ourselves. And, like, so that's a great point of the film. But her voice acting in this film, like, just makes you believe and care for a character that isn't even physically present. And, like, I think that takes an immense amount of talent.
Tell us your list down below in the comment section. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.